Good afternoon, Senator Prague, Representative Santiago, Senator Guglielmo, Representative Rigby, and members of the committee. And I thank you as well for hearing these bills, Senate Bill 989 and Senate Bill 990, respectively on binding arbitration and prevailing wage. Thank you very much for holding this hearing. I am going to testify in support first of 989 on binding arbitration, and some of my support of the provision regarding reserved fund balances is based on my experience as a member of town government in the town of Wilton. We have in Wilton long adhered to a policy of keeping a 10% fund balance for years. And according to Moody's and other rating agencies, that fund balance really has been an important factor in maintaining our AAA bond rating and reducing, obviously, Wilton's cost of debt. Wilton, like many other towns, does not, therefore, treat the monies in the reserve fund as available to be used for operating expenses, including salaries and benefits. This is consistent with Senate Bill 989, which requires that arbitrators exclude reserve fund balances when considering a municipality's ability to pay. If I may, I'd also like to see this bill go farther for a particular reason in limiting the use of binding arbitration in municipal contexts. Municipalities may, and this was our case in Wilton actually, negotiate contracts during good economic times, only shortly thereafter to see the economy decline, leading to a budget deficit. Residents then may not be able to afford sufficient increases, and a town may need urgently to take temporary measures, for example, a wage freeze, to avoid a combination of revenue shortfalls, service cutbacks, and layoffs. In these cases, binding arbitration may not only prove cumbersome, but also may represent more of a financial risk than town government feels it should take with taxpayer money. For this reason, I respectfully suggest that the committee might want to consider removing the binding arbitration requirement during certain periods of economic distress or of high unemployment, of decline, whatever, some criteria that you may determine. I also support Senate Bill 990. I think you've heard everything that I would have to say by previous speakers. So just to reiterate again that in the 2 decades since 1991, after having adjusted the prevailing wage thresholds every 6 years, Connecticut has not adjusted the thresholds for 20 years. And at the same time, our towns and cities have seen the cost of every one of their budget line items increase substantially. And because they can't request bids on the open market, this has made the cost of certain public works projects prohibitive, and many towns have chosen to defer or cancel them. That causes employment to suffer, and when projects can't be postponed, it's the taxpayers who suffer the increased costs. So I hope the committee will consider adjusting the prevailing wage threshold upward now, and if that is the case, if you might also consider adopting a mechanism in the future for regular adjustments based on some index that you might determine. So I thank the chairs and the members of the committee for raising these two bills. Binding arbitration and prevailing wage requirements are essentially mandates that impose uniform regulations on 169 different towns in Connecticut that each have unique financial situations, forms of government, and priorities. Our town governments have worked extraordinarily hard during a very long period of economic distress to manage their finances well, to do it on time, and to provide essential services to their residents. So as a state government, I think we should be making every endeavor to remove obstacles from their path and to help them succeed. And these bills, I think, are a step in that direction. Thank you very much.